I've seen those.
Okay.
It's definitely a thing.
Quick,
Are we
everybody,
good?
everybody Google cheese
Let's go.
dice. The
Let's
first
go.
first one to find them wins. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're live now.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna be honest. Tonight's episode might be just lackluster, as I have actually used my quota of brain power for the day thinking about cheese caves in the last like 10 minutes before stream. A lot of cheese related talk happened, and it has it's actually just I'm done.
Cheese caves. Google it.
I have nothing left. Cheese cave. Yeah, Google cheese caves real quick, and then
in chat,
come
tell
back
us your
here.
favorite cheese in the Twitch chat.
That's right. Okay, well, hey, welcome to Delve Requisite. This Tuesday, here we are with the Pirates to take care of our housekeeping business. This episode of Delve Requisite, as are all episodes, is brought to you by Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle Games. Dragon Corp currently running a big ol' sale to celebrate their 4-year anniversary as an extant company who sells dice to people. You can be one of those people who buys dice from them by going to their website, which you can get a link to by typing !Little Dragon in the chat. If you use our code PROBONUS at checkout, I can either
That's
confirm
just bonus
or...
now.
Oh, so that's right. It is just bonus now. And I don't know whether it stacks with their current discount. Maybe depending on what the special they're running is and our discount, maybe they'll send you
Cheese
like
dice.
a set of dice and a toonie because they're Canadian.
Cheese dice.
I love toonies. They're the best.
They'll send you cheese dice. Cardboard Castle Games, a brick and mortar, brick and mortar tabletop RPG store located in Evans, Georgia. There you go, Canadian. If you do not live in Evans, Georgia, if you live in some place that has ridiculous monopoly money and a thing called toonies as real currency that people exchange to each other.
The money is cartoons.
Money is cartoons.
Pennies sound kind of funny too. Like, what is a penny? What does that mean?
To be
we
fair,
don't
the
have
American
pennies
dollar is
anymore.
enough of a joke that it should be a cartoon. So,
Hey, happy 4th of July, everybody! Our country's a joke. This episode of Delve Requisite also brought to you by Cheese. You can't get a
Is
link
it
to
in
their
you?
website. Christ.
don't sue us, Gatorade.
Is that still Gatorade's slogan? I
It
feel like
was
that
for
was
a long
Gatorade's
time.
slogan in like 1998. Anyway,
Whatever.
last time on Delve Requisite, the Grimm's Follies crew met up with the other half of our campaign. They met up with the Fool's Errant, as well as having a meeting with the Council of Eight, the governing body of the Ordinum Libri. That is they are the head of the bookkeepers, and they are the sort of premier arcanists in charge of the city of Terra Libra, where our party is currently located. They discussed matters of state having to do with the ongoing conflict between the Ignean Empire and the Mithlindian Kingdom. The Ignean Empire launching a brutal preemptive sort of first strike attack on the Mithlindian government, capturing an enormous chunk of territory, capturing their capital and their king, which under normal circumstances would have spelled kind of the end to a very brief conflict. However, thanks to the efforts of that other group of the Fool's Errant, and their work with someone by the name of Tabitha Delker, the daughter of a deceased Mithlindian parliament member, the king had enough forewarning of the treachery within his court that measures were taken, and currently the Queen of Mithlinde is running the kingdom from a city to the south that she was evacuated to prior to the overthrowing of the Mithlindian government. So those two kingdoms are now embroiled in a vicious war over land, and soon to be over sea, as a large Ignean armada sails around the cape of the continent. Other kingdoms are responding in kind, and it seems to be only a matter of time before the conflict spills over. The undercurrent to all of this is the activities of the mysterious Brotherhood of Artanis, a group who both the pirates and the Fool's Errand have been clashing with as their adventures have been ongoing. It is sort of the running theory that while the Brotherhood's efforts seem to be favoring the Ignean Empire's bid for domination of the continent, it seems likely that they have other goals that they are playing on a deeper level than has been truly understood yet. So the Ordinum Librae has essentially contracted with the Fool's Errand and the Grimm's Folly crew to attempt to discover and disrupt the Brotherhood of Artanis' plans, as well as act on their behalf in the conflict between the Empire and the Brotherhood and the various other forces. The combined parties had made a plea to the Ordinum Librae to engage more directly with the conflict, and were partly successful in their attempt at convincing the bookkeeper's leadership. But the bookkeeper pointing out that they are not a military force, they are really not even a particularly large organization in the grand scheme of things, chose to sort of take action in the way that they could, which was sort of indirectly. And part of that being with the continued efforts of both of your groups. So at this point, you are still in Terra Libra. You guys parted ways with the Fool's Errand, having both been given an item that will allow you to communicate with them over any distance going forward. I would assume that like plans have been made to reconvene, discuss more, as you guys have a lot of common interests, it seems. And there are certain connections between you that bear further exploration, specifically between member of the Fool's Errand Osrius and Nimue, as well as some of the things that you guys have seen. You were basically tasked with, when you are ready, returning to the Grimm's Folly and proceeding south on the tail of the Ignean Armada to kind of discover what it is they are up to in that region. Though you have, some time still to spend in the city if you would like. You were also told that you can, before you leave, pay a visit to the workshop here on the Ordinum's campus, where they have promised to outfit you guys with, I believe it was magical shit was the official terminology of what you guys requested.
Cool magical shit.
Cool magical shit. So they have agreed to like outfit you with things that may prove helpful if you are going to act on their behalf in this manner. And other than that, you guys kind of have free run of the city to sort of go and see or do anything you want to do before you leave. Take care of any business, talk to anybody, anything like that. And then whenever you guys are like feeling like you're good to go here, you are able to secure a teleportation back to your vessel. Turn my fan on because it is a little toasty in here. Anyway, let's turn it over to you guys then. So you are, let's call this mid-afternoon after your meeting was like early morning, it was like 10 a.m. This morning. You guys spent some time kind of talking to the Fool's Errand a little bit more. You guys exchanged like Twitter handles or whatever so you can communicate with each other. And parted ways. So you are currently still in the Ordinum Rise on the the leftmost side of that map there, and the remainder of the day is yours.
Well, now that that is over, what are we doing?
I think we wanted to try that fried cheese place.
Oh, right, Dykes, now that you're not as busy with the reading, we can go to the Deep Fried Tavern.
Oh, sure. That sounds great.
We didn't want to go without you. It seemed like something you would really enjoy.
Well, thank you for thinking of me.
Okay, so is your plan to get lunch at
Or do
Archmage
we wanna go
Fury's
get our
restaurant,
I
Dungeons, Delves, and
Wait.
Diamonds?
That's on the list. It's not actually the
What
first.
when
On the list.
when did the other group leave?
They're still in the city, as far as you know. You guys parted ways like a little bit ago, probably.
Okay,
And-
I
and-
wanna
and-
track
and-
I wanna track them down. I have questions for the fucker that works with the Brotherhood and potentially Pendragon. Like, she's like, no, I want fucking information. Don't just fucking leave.
Okay.
So probably
That's
Brom?
That
he's
that
here?
big guy that was with them. That I think they were calling him Oz or
Sorry,
whatever.
Russell.
That Oz guy really
Make a
reminded me
hang
of
on before you
Movar.
switch hats. Make a
Wait.
if that is your first order of business.
That was
make
my
a-
that was my order of business before.
No,
we
I don't
ended
have to
last
do
week.
anything. Like, you have a way to contact them, so you don't. I was gonna say make like an investigation or a survival, but like you can just call them up.
Hey, bitch.
Murderbeard has that mirror.
Captain, can I have that mirror, please?
Sure.
Switch hats back. Brom said that.
Sure.
There
Okay.
you go. Okay. Now it's canon. Just wave it like an etch a sketch and see if he's like, hello? Knock knock.
There you go. Now you can switch hats.
Yeah, what's up?
Do
Move your
you
thumb off
guys
the camera.
I'm gonna beat your
Okay,
ass.
now I can see you.
Where are you at right now?
We're in a bar called The Boys.
That's not in this city.
Oh, no, we're in a bar called The Boys too in this city.
No, it's become a franchise.
No!
It's The Boys 2, but it's TOO.
Yeah.
Do you have someplace secure that we can have a conversation?
That's a good question. Do we have do we have a base of operations in the city yet?
Not a permanent base of operations of any sort, because that's not something you guys ever like established. Probably like the collective of the Arcane Eye, your old wizard buds. Like, you know that they have permanent residences in Ladria's Keep. You like that would probably be the most like secure or whatever base of operations that you guys would use if such a thing were.
Yeah, all right. I'll give Nimue the details to where that is then, because I don't trust the.
Yeah. I'll meet you there. I'll see if any of my group wants to come, but I have some questions about the Brotherhood that I need to sort out with you before you leave the city.
You got it.
Thank you. See you soon, I guess. Here you go, my captain. Thank you. Who wants to come with me?
I'll
Rowan
go.
Rowan
You
stands.
God.
Rowan
I'll
just
go.
stands next to Nimue. Like, she doesn't say anything. She just moves to stand next to Nimue, still looking very exhausted from the meeting. I could not very well let you be around those nincompoops by yourself. I will go. I don't like that the green one with the hat pulled a sword out, or tried to at some point. I will keep an eye on him. To be fair, I was pulling out a symbol of his former bosses that tried to kill him. But to also be fair, I could have decapitated him at a moment's notice. So, like, it's fine. He will be punished. Well, he will. It'll be fine.
Yikes.
All right,
And
no
now,
one gets
canon,
gonna
we
go.
only refer to the other group
Folly.
as nincompoops.
Hey,
The
Matt,
nincompoops.
Look, I don't need to
quick
be
question
bullied in
for
2 groups at the same time.
quick question. Would Thyxus know who he would need to go speak to find out more information about him being able to give over the information that he discovered to become a member of said organization?
What?
I forgot about
What?
that.
Yeah, he wants to know over
I
the
don't understand. I
information.
don't understand what you're asking.
I think is
So,
this about the ley lines that you
Join-
want to
yeah,
turn that over
the
Join the
additional
Addendum
Addendum.
Libri.
join the Addendum Libri. Would I
By-
need
by
to? Who
supplying-
would Thyxus know who he would need to go to speak to about inquiring about that?
You. Did you guys meet? I'm trying to keep track of which party has met which characters. Have you guys met Mish Galantia Kalrook?
Her name was
does not-
said to us. We were not. We did
she-
not
We
meet her.
didn't meet her.
She has sort of this accent.
We did not
we did
meet
not
her.
meet her.
The
You've
other
spoken to
group.
this NPC. Okay.
No, the
So
other
you
group.
have not met her, so you don't know who she is.
Okay.
You're probably your best bet. Like, you want to talk to somebody who is a member of the Brotherhood. So you know that there's like people at the library that are members of the Brotherhood. You know that.
You mean the Ordenum?
The Brotherhood?
Or Denim. This has
Oh,
become
shit!
this has become
Yes.
Did you
untenable.
just
I'm
reveal
going to
the plot?
join the Brotherhood.
No, no.
Or did it been
No.
the Brotherhood the whole time?
Well, we already
They've
know
been the
that.
Brotherhood.
We
No,
already suspect that.
this has become untenable.
I've
There's
been in
there's
on
two
this the
groups.
whole time.
This yeah.
You're
It
in
actually turns out you
brother.
guys have been the other party the whole time as well.
Chat gave Gromderbeard player inspiration for being prepared with the hats.
Okay, good.
Hey, with the hats, as in I took it off last week and left it here.
And it's been right there. So yes, so Thyxus, you basically like you want to talk to somebody from the Ordenum. So you know that some of the people at the library are obviously like bookkeepers. You know, Torian Idrian is a member of the Ordenum. I'm trying to think of what other characters you like know for sure are Ordenum members. I mean, like, you're still in Ladria's Keep, so like everybody here, you just talk to somebody.
I'd probably want to talk to if they're all going to talk to Brahm. Thyxus would probably like split off on his own to go see if he could find Torian.
Okay. Then let's do that. You guys, we'll split the group up here. Let us, we'll follow the bulk of the party first. So the group of you follow the kind of instructions that Brahm gives to a like upper level in Ladria's Keep. It is in the interior. It is very much like it's kind of like it's like in a nice apartment complex. Like the upper levels are all like long hallways with like doors to individual rooms where members of the Ordenum like live and work and things like that. So you're kind of like directed to the appropriate level and an area. You go and you knock on the door, and the door, like, you hear it like a series of like unlatching locks open, and then the door swings open, and you see like a an aquamarine luminescent mage hand like swings the door open. And by a table, like with essentially like a little fancy coffee bar, you see a probably looks, you would think maybe like early 70s human, kind of like caramel colored skin, a very like well maintained like pointed beard that is streaked with gray. Neatly maintained hair and robes, He is wearing on one of his hands. He has a silk glove covering his hand. He appears to be the source of the mage hand. And he kind of like looks over as you guys are standing, in the doorway, and he says, "Good afternoon. You are, I assume, the individuals that Mr. Replock is waiting for."
Yes.
He says, "Feel free to come in."
Thank you.
So he leads you guys. You guys enter into like what is a pretty comfortable looking sitting room. There are several other people in the room. They are all like pushing geriatric age. One of them is has like deep, dark, like ebony colored skin. She wears loose fitting, like kind of blue robes. You see that she is her robes are sleeveless, and both of her arms, and from what you can see under her like neck and stuff leading up to like just below her jawline, she has these like intricate tattoos covering like all of her exposed skin. Even like like Nimue, you have like these sort of like thick swirling cultural ones that you have. Hers are like essentially is like a maze work of these like intricate lines that are very fine in detail. And as she kind of like lifts a hand and sips the tea that she has, you see that they sort of like almost like shimmer, like they're glittery. Another individual in the room is a bald-headed, stocky-looking dwarf. He currently has like one side of his mustache is currently like singed a little shorter than the other, and is like actively smoking a little bit. And the third individual is a human man wearing like a tailored set of coattails. He's in like a butler's outfit. And he is in the process of like bringing over what appears to be like a fresh pot of coffee over to this stand that the first individual is standing at.
There's three people in the room.
Brahm is not currently in the room right now.
3 people, like those. So not all.
No, there's 4 people. There's besides the party. There's 4 people. The 3 old wizards and their buddy. So you guys like enter into the room. The first man that greeted you, he kind of like finishes making himself like a cup of coffee. He gestures to the station, and he says, "Feel free to help yourselves. My name is Dimios Themeron. These are my compatriots." He points to the dwarf. He says, "This is Colin Copperkettle," and he points to the woman, and he says, "This is Namara Otumba." And he gestures towards the older human, and he says, "And this is our good friend and our longtime assistant, Stanfield."
Good to meet you. We are the crew of the Grimm's Folly.
The dwarf kind of like looks you guys over. He looks over to Namara, and he says, "Do I know these people?" And Namara says, "No, I do not believe so." And he says, "Do you think I need to?" And she goes, she like tilts her head, and you guys can kind of notice like as she tilts her head, she's sort of looking like off a little way away from where you guys are. And you see that like both of her eyes are like completely like glassed over, like the pupils are like white. You get the sense that she is blind. But she sort of tilts her head in your direction, and she says, "I get the feeling that it might be a good thing to put them in your book." And he goes, "Okay, I'll get it." And he gets up and he stumps out of the room. Dimios like gestures again. He says, you really should try the coffee. It is
Oh, I'm already
Stanfield-
there.
he says Stanfield is famous for it.
I will get some coffee. Yeah.
So anybody who wants to can go about like fixing themselves a cup of coffee, or they also have like a wide array of like weird teas. For something maybe that like I get the sense that like Sela might be familiar with a lot of these, as they're like teas made from the like dried herbs and leaves of like some pretty like exotic plants that might be found in like a lot of different places around the world.
I feel like Rowan made the same face that Brittany made at the mention of tea. So while she's looking at them, I'll just like point to one and I'll say, "This flower only blooms once every 10 years under a specific full moon. You should try it."
I go for that tea because even
And
though
yeah,
I want to try the
Namara
coffee,
from her seat without like looking goes like, "Oh, I highly concur. It is excellent."
Rowan just smiles and goes, "I get a little too edgy with coffee, and it's already been a bad day. I don't think I need that right now." And
I
I'll
just
start making
down
myself
the
tea.
coffee and then I wait in line for that tea too because I was like, that sounds good as shit.
The coffee is like, I don't know if I don't know what all of your characters' various experiences with coffee are, but the coffee is like the best example of the product that you have ever tasted in your life, probably.
Damn.
It's that Dunkin' Donuts sunrise batch.
That's
iced
right.
coffee.
Yeah, it's
That's just
it's
so
Dunkin' Donuts.
fire.
Once you guys have like helped yourselves to appropriate like an appropriate level of drinkage, Stanfield like leaves the room and then comes back in an amount of time that like you have no idea how he like, unless it was like prepared already, he like comes back with a tray of like cucumber sandwiches. And he like brings them around. And there's ample places for you to kind of sit. Demios says, Mr. Replock told us that you would be coming up. He is on his way as well. He should be here any moment. Though he was, as is his nature, particularly sparse on the details. How is it that all of you are acquainted with our good friend?
Well, we just met him today? Earlier today? What is time? Earlier today. He has some information that I would like to digest from him, if he has it. Can I insight check these people?
Yeah.
How much do they seem to know about the other group? Or is it just Brahm that they seem familiar with?
Make an insight check and then, ask him some questions and we'll see what you get.
Not very good. 13.
13. You kind of look, Colin Copperkettle, the dwarf, as he was introduced to you, is not in the room. He left. He walked out of the room. Okay. Namara is sitting in her chair. Her expression is utterly unreadable. She just sort of has this like distant kind of placid expression on her face. Demios is you get the sense from Demios as he's the one you have like exchanged the most conversation with. He seems to he speaks about Brahm with a familiarity that leads you to believe that like his background probably with like this other group is extensive enough that like
they probably know what's
combined with the fact that like you were like, I need somewhere secure to talk, and Brahm directed you here, like they probably have a decent relationship.
Okay.
But he is, for all intents and purposes, he's just kind of looking at you with like polite interest.
I guess the easiest way to explain is we both our groups have connections, well, not really connections, but problems with the Brotherhood. And we want to make sure that we're all on the same page when dealing with them.
Namara from her chair says, has Mr. Adrian been interfering with your affairs as well?
I put a hand on Scylla immediately.
Bark, 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 grr, snarl, snarl, brrr.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Did Brom just walk in, or was that Captain?
That was murdered. Yeah, that guy sucks.
She doesn't really react to that in any way. She just kind of nods and she says, I thought you had that air about you.
Yeah, he really needs to learn how to like have some empathy for people because I don't think he has any.
I don't think
personal
empathy
boundaries.
is the problem. It's the boundaries. It's not
That
empathy.
too.
If
She
he had
says-
boundaries,
Entitlement.
empathy would follow.
Also, not a big fan of his face. That's like a punchable face.
She says, Namara says, in my experience, Turian Idrian has spent too long attempting to control the future, and it has made him lacking in his dealings in the present.
Or just lacking in general.
She you get a little bit of a sense of like, it's almost like vague grandmotherly disapproval from her. And she says, do not judge him too harshly. He is ultimately noble.
Intentions don't always equal impact.
She smiles a little bit and she says, when one can see the future, that is not as often the case.
Did Brom happen to mention how long it would take him to get here? Looking at Dimios.
Demios goes, I would think any moment now. And Namara goes, I just heard him enter the hallway. And he goes, then I suppose he will be here in but a moment. And as he says that, the door to the chamber opens again, and in steps the broad-shouldered, green-skinned, well-dressed, but oddly behatted half-orc, Brom Repluck. At the exact moment that the dwarf comes back into the room carrying like a big, hefty book. And he comes back in with the book, and he looks across the room at Brom, and he looks to Dimios, and he goes, that's a new one, right? That one would not, they weren't in the room when I left. And Dimios goes, no. And then he recites a number, which I don't have pulled up off the top of my head, but it's like 155 or something like that.
I think I was 156. I think
156.
It's been a long time
and
since Colin. Dr. Colin.
And Colin goes like, right, okay. He like flips through. And he opens to a page in the book, and he like see him like read for like a few seconds. His eyes like flick incredibly fast across this page. And then he looks up at Brom, and he like cracks into this huge like grin. And he goes, oh, my mayonnaise patron.
All right. Well, that's literally the worst thing could have ever come out of your mouth.
I heard that as soon as I said it. That was truly. Hang on, actually, I'll make a note that I don't. That was awful beyond all reasoning. But no, I still my gratitudes. The alchemy jug is it's a lifesaver. I've never had I've never had a dry sandwich since you gave it to me.
Yeah, I got an alchemy jug that he was real into, so I traded it to him for some way better magical crap.
Nice.
Anyway,
Hey,
not
listen,
important.
mayonnaise is the single greatest condiment that has ever been invented by mortal kind. And this bloke had a jug that could make an infinite amount of it. And he weren't using it for anything interesting, so I gave him some like bullcrap in exchange, and now I can always have mayonnaise at the ready.
Sounds like a pretty solid deal.
That's an extremely solid deal. Anyway, so I don't know who any of you are. Are you in my book? He looks at the group of you, the pirates. He goes,
No.
right, okay.
If we are, we need to discuss a few things.
He goes, well, no, if you're in my book and I don't remember it, that's one thing. If you're in my book and you don't remember it, we do have to have a different conversation, as one of us with a memory curse is quite enough for this one room, I think. And Damius goes, no, this is the first time that we have met any of these people. And he goes, oh, that's splendid. Okay, let's see here then. At random, and he points Thykes is not in the room, actually. Rowan, he points at you and he goes, you are 202. Can I have your name if you'd be so kind?
I look at Brahm for a second, very concerned.
It's all right. You can trust them. There's only a small amount of people that I trust, and the people in this house are them and Stanfield.
I
Namara
nod.
says, Colin has been afflicted with a curse. In our younger days, we were relic hunters of a sort. We spent our time seeking out lost knowledge and adventure. In the course of this, Colin was afflicted with a curse that affects his memory. He can perfectly remember everything from before he was cursed. But afterwards, anyone that he meets, he is afflicted with a very temporary memory of them. It is likely that were you to leave the room for 5 minutes and come back in, he would have no recollection of you. So he has taken to, whenever he meets someone that is necessary that he be able to recall in the future, he keeps notes so that he may reference them in the future.
I nod at her, even though she, as far as I know, can't see me. And just look back at him and say, do you want my full name?
Because I don't give a
You know?
shit whatever you want me to call you, because I'm going to look at this book anytime I see you again. You're going to give me your number, and that's what I'm going to call you. You could tell me your name is like Flippy McGee, and it's what I'm going to call you from now on. I don't care.
I was just making sure.
My name is Flippy McGee.
Oh, Lord. My name is Rowan Ambermore.
Okay. He in turn will ask will ask everybody, does anybody not give him their name or give him a fake name?
Yes. I tell him my name is shit.
All right, he writes shit in his
No,
book.
no, I tell him that my name is Pam.
Pam?
Pam?
Okay.
Pam?
Slippery Pam.
So 202 is Rowan Ambermore. 203 is Pam. Nimue, you give him your real name.
Yeah, but can I ask not to have 204? Can I have 205?
Sure.
204 is an unlucky number.
And Murderbeard, what are you giving him a fake name?
No.
Okay. So You, Sela, make a deception check.
That's why I wanted to know if he needed my full name. Like he was gonna know shit if I was lying, and I can't lie.
I was in the middle of hot saucing my potato salad.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Hot saucing my potato salad definitely sounds like an innuendo.
Fucking minute, I'm hot saucing my potato salad.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
You said a deception check?
Yeah.
It's a 0.
Good God! All three of the wizards, the wizards, and the old man Stanfield, as you give them Pam like squint at you. Colin just like, all right, and he writes it down.
He did ask Scylla her name, and then she stood there for 4 solid minutes, and then went, Pam.
Colin doesn't seem to super give a shit. Namara like quirks an eyebrow, but then continues just like looking placidly. You get the distinct impression from like Dimios and Stanfield that they're like, you're fucking with our disabled friend. Like, we don't care for that.
You're muted, honey.
You're muted.
I don't want to be perceived.
You just were.
So that happens. But I will now get out of the way as Brahm is Colin goes about like writing just like what looks like physical descriptions of each of you in his book, so that like when he sees you again, he can like reference to confirm you are who he is written down here. Dimios looks to Brahm, and he goes, "Is this the sort of conversation that you would prefer we be in a different room for?"
It's probably up to our friends here.
I mean, I'm fine with it. If you trust them and if they might have extra knowledge, that could also help. Stay or leave, it's up to them.
General consensus?
Your choice. I say to the wizards, your choice. You can stay or leave. I don't mind either way.
Namara goes, I am comfortable here, and my tea is making me sleepy, so I will stay where I am. And Dimio seems to take that as like, it has been stated, so he's like, and he just goes and sits down in a chair. Stanfield does go like, it seems inappropriate for me to be, and he just like,
Aw, buddy.
I shall be in the other room if you need anything. Don't hesitate to call. So the 3 wizards are in the room. Stanfield leaves, and you guys are left with Brahm.
So, what's up?
So,
you called me.
You worked for the. You said you worked for the Brotherhood, yeah?
Yep, most of my life.
Did you ever meet Pendragon? Or
I had never heard the name until. How long ago has it been at this point? I don't know. Passage.
For you guys, it's been about a year since you first came across the name Pendragon.
I haven't heard that name until about a year ago. The Brotherhood doesn't do a lot of names and doesn't do a lot of unnecessary needing to know. You sort of get the name of the person you are dealing with directly, and that's about it.
what was the first context you heard his name?
When was the first time we heard him?
The first time the name Pendragon was given to the Fool's Errand was from the reanimated corpse of the city council person in
Audricholm
that was running some sort of a operation feeding vagrants and like hapless young women to an ooze or rather feeding them to one of those ghost lanterns, and then like if they failed whatever that was, feeding them to the ooze to like get rid of the bodies. That the ooze killed Kel, and then in retribution, Nula killed that guy before you got like much information out of him. And one of the few things you were able to like wrestle from his corpse via Walter's spell was the name Pendragon as the person whom he was like working for.
Fuck. And where was that? Where was this experiment shit happening? Like, where were they?
I gotta double check my Volandan cities here real quick. Volrenheim is Brahm's hometown. Odricholm is where this happened. Odricholm is the name of the city where this occurred. Which is, I don't have a world map up. Let me pop a world map up for you guys. Well, let me not pop a world. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Okay. No, that's Naporia.
So you guys heard it a year ago. Have you heard it since? Like, has it come up multiple times or just then?
It's vaguely come up, but nothing solid.
Nothing solid.
Blakelock confirmed like a little bit more information. That's where you got the information that like he was operating out of the Empire and was doing something. That's the only time you've like brought him. You
Basically,
like, got
we've met a
information.
bunch of people doing stuff for him. But
So
we got
he
no
seems to have
idea.
like a far-reaching. Like, if he's just in the Empire and everyone's like on all these random cities and random boats doing shit for him, like, how is he in connection? How does the Brotherhood work that way?
If I had to guess, the fact that his name is going around
Yeah.
probably means that he's maybe only middle management.
Sorry, what? I can barely hear you.
Probably means he's only about middle management.
So he's not the toppest tier.
You were told by Blakelock that Pendragon is one of the 5, for lack of a more official term, generals of the Brotherhood of Artanis. So
shit.
It's like the Artanis, which is like the term for the person who runs the organization, and then like a handful of guys. You think there's 5 of them. You know a few of their names. We discussed that last week, so I won't get into it again. But like Pendragon, you believe, is one of those guys.
Also,
And Thysine was below. Sorry, what was that, Bram?
Thysine was just one of the other ones, right?
Thysine was not
lower.
like he was like a lackey to Pendragon as far. You
that.
don't know anything about Thysine because you never met him.
Okay.
You guys know that Thysine was like reporting
under.
to Pendragon.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also not fully convinced that Pendragon is one person and not different people operating under the same alias.
Just more people to kill, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck.
You
Is
know
there anything? Go ahead.
Do you know who might be operating closer to the Radiant Dawn?
We didn't get that many locations of people, so.
I mean, you do know it's pretty common knowledge. The Radiant Dawn operates out of Lyra, which is on the western border of Mithlinde. It is essentially the bastion that holds out against the darkness in the blighted peninsula. Anything having to do with Lyra or the Radiant Dawn or anything like that is not something that you have any information on. No.
Yeah. Nobody we know of currently is alleged to be in that jurisdiction. Doesn't mean that there's not members in that area, but nothing we've uncovered.
There was at least one person in that area.
You would know more about
Calling
that.
international dibs law right now.
Yeah, I have dibs on Pendragon, so that's fair.
I have dibs on the nameless piece of crap right now.
And you're not still working for them, right? Like you're not a double agent. Like you've left them, or
First of all, if I was a double agent, why would I tell you that? Second of all, no, I'm not.
Is he telling the truth?
Just pointing out if that with the absurdity of that question.
I mean double agent. I mean by double agent, I mean you work for the library and then you also work still with the Brotherhood. So the library would actually already know that you're a double agent. So it's they
Look,
send in a double
I don't
agent.
work for the Brotherhood anymore, and I don't work for the library. I work with the library.
Semantics.
I'm not taking orders from those nerds.
Insight check on all of that.
Yeah, I want to see if he's telling the truth.
I suck at this, but yeah, nope. Rowan knows nothing. It's a 3.
22.
Thank
There
you.
she
Yeah.
is.
I mean, we're in weird sort of like player versus player territory here. I mean, either he could be a phenomenal liar, and if he's a person who is serving as a double agent for an organization that is currently like directing world-shattering like levels of political war and conflict, like it probably would be. So I don't know that like no matter how good your insight check is, that there's any way to know whether this dude is like playing you or not. But like from the discussion that you've had, you don't, you know.
The reason I was asking is I was hoping like we could do this what we did to get to Thysine. Infiltrate from the inside out. Get into the Brotherhood somehow. You worked for them. So I was curious if you had any ideas on how to navigate that network.
There's finite amount of ways that I still have any access to, provided they have not changed things,
Right.
done them differently. Communication seems to be one of the things I have noticed they have at least not changed yet.
How do they communicate usually?
Generally, they send a magical cardinal messenger to discuss matters. So keep an eye out for cardinals.
So that's why there's red feathers. And
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I don't know if the feathers came before the birds or the birds came before the feathers, but they thought it was cool, I guess.
at least that makes sense a little.
Somebody says, you should be aware that they know who you are now. And you see that from like the other chamber in this room, the young woman that you guys were introduced to as Tabitha Delker walks into the room. She says, if what I have, if what was said at the meeting earlier this morning is true, you should be aware that you are made in every sense of the word as it relates to the Brotherhood of Artanis. As is Mr. Repluck, as am I, as are all of us. You have acted against them, and they are no doubt aware that you know of them. Your ploy, turning yourself in, will likely not work again. The only thing that the Brotherhood of Artanis will have for anyone in these chambers is a swift and decisive death should one of their agents get the opportunity. She kind of nods towards Brahm. She says, in assisting me and siding with me in the matter of my father's assassination, Mr. Repluck has earned himself a rather unsubtle excommunication from the Brotherhood. They have made it clear that the only interaction that any of us will have with that organization again directly is at the end of a poisoned dagger. I should think that your fates are very much the same now that you're on their radar, having interfered with their operations in the Empire. She says, I just thought it was important to make that point, as you should proceed in your dealings with them armed with the most accurate information you can. If you have crossed them, they all know you now.
They crossed me first.
I have no doubt that they do. They killed my father.
Rowan just shifts a little how she's standing, and she's kind of like leaning weirdly, and her hand's kind of like on her like side, and she goes, "Yeah, they stabbed me first. They didn't even cross me first, so."
She nods, not knowing the context to what you're saying, but
Yeah.
she says,
I look at her and I go, "For the record, even though it's been said a few times today, I'm sorry for the loss of your father. I grew up here, and even though I never met him or you before, I at least knew the name. And from what you said earlier, it seemed like at the end he tried to do what was right. And I'm sorry that that cost him his life."
she kind of looks away for a minute, but then she turns back and she looks at you and she says, I suppose it is a lesson that at some point all children learn of their parents, that they are not infallible figures who always do the right thing and have the answer for all of life's problems.
Understatement of the year.
I wish that I had not been forced into that lesson in the matter. I was, and I don't know how long it will take me to come to grips with the fact that though he may have chosen to do the right thing in the end, on some level my father was a traitor to my homeland. I have complicated feelings on the matter, but regardless, this Brotherhood of Artanis has committed a crime against me personally, as they commit crimes on an unimaginable scale across the Five Kingdoms. I do not know the full extent of any of your stories. She looks specifically Nimue and Rowan at you guys who have made statements like they crossed me first, like, but believe me when I say to you that I understand intimately the driving force behind the desire to make right what was put wrong by a group of people who have more power than they deserve.
How long have they been around for? Do we know?
Long time, as far as I know. And I mean like a long time. Brahm will point at Rowan and go, "You still carrying that feather?"
She reaches in her side pouch and pulls it up.
Brom will call for Stanfield.
Stanfield comes back into the room immediately.
Stanfield, will you
Yes,
be
sir.
will you be a fine gentleman? Can you get me some finely crushed charcoal and a very thin copper wire?
Yes, I will do so immediately.
He turns towards Dimios and he says,
I assume it is all well for me to retrieve the required materials from your laboratory, sir.
and Dimios kind of nods. Of course, Stanfield, whatever Mr. Replock needs.
The small
Stanfield,
bowl.
He nods.
Yes, sir.
And he leaves the room, and is gone no more than 30 seconds. Before
Oh my
he
God.
returns. He is.
He's a cheetah.
He's like
Organized.
a 15th. Yeah, he's got 15 levels in Butler.
Hell
he's-
yeah, sir! Get it! Hell yeah!
He comes back in with the required materials. He goes,
Here you are, sir.
Can we make that an actual homebrew class? Cause I'm down.
it's the second homebrew class that we have generated from
Retirement
this
plans.
which is the Butler class and the what was it, the College of Custodial Services Bard.
Oh my
Yep.
God, yes.
So he brings everything that you asked for.
May I borrow your feather for a second? Promise you get it back.
As long as I get it back. I drop it to Brom.
Brom will take the thin copper wire and essentially run it through the center of the feather.
Okay.
And then he'll put the charcoal in the little bowl, and the wire end is sort of the end of the wire sticking out of the end of the feather. So with that, he'll roll it around in the charcoal, and then between his two fingers, Brom is gonna heat metal,
Okay.
and a fine red little puff comes off of it. He slides it back out and hands it over. He goes, they sometimes like to use those to track people. That should stop that from happening.
Oh shit.
Well, I mean, good to know, but I have to admit I thought about that at one point. And I figured if he was going to come find me, it would make part of my job easier, but at least my friends won't have to deal with him now. So,
Whoever you're looking for may not be high enough up to do that. But now that you may or may not have put yourselves directly
yeah, now
on
we might
top
be a
of certain
problem.
people's lists, it's probably for the best.
Thank you. I guess I'll have to go back to hunting him the old school way rather than him coming to me, but that's what I was doing before we all got grabbed, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if it makes you feel any better, they were gonna send other people, and they will send other people first.
He's a bit arrogant, and not in a way that people would ignore him. He's a kiss ass, so he probably could have weaseled his way into coming too. But I'll just deal with him one way or the other. But thanks, at least now my friends are a bit safer. I mean, for all I know, he didn't know who had this. He doesn't know I have it.
Some people knew you had it, and it's better that they don't.
After today, more people knew I had it. I don't even think, and I look at the crew of the Grimm's Folly, I don't even know if they all knew I had it.
Even if you had never showed it to anybody, a great number of the wrong people knew about it.
Put it back in my pouch.
And
You're
up till now, you were not anything important. No offense.
none taken. I would prefer to be nothing important, but
Well, wouldn't we all?
here we
And
are.
yet here
Yeah.
we are.
You're kind of handy.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I have extensive knowledge from a giant order of douchebags. So it comes in handy.
Is there anything else you can think to supply us with? Information wise about that brotherhood that you've worked for? Anything we should know in particular?
I would say keep an eye out, but the Brotherhood is particularly good at making things so that they are not recognizable to the people who don't know what they're looking for. My best advice is if there's somebody who seems like they're trustworthy, they're not. The Brotherhood is real good at making it seem like they're the right people.
The Brotherhood compel crabs to commit atrocities.
That's a fair point. That's a good question.
History
A
check.
crab with a knife.
That is not within the like operating procedures that you have ever known the Brotherhood to employ.
Damn.
I mean, probably not. But I can't 100% say no. I mean, that might sound like something I would do if I could do it. But probably not. I'm kind of very interested in this crab
It's none
revenge
of your
story.
business.
Right, fair enough.
Well, this is over. We can tell you the ridiculous stories, but I don't think we have time for that today.
I mean, if you get attacked by a random animal with sharp objects, let us know through the mirror, and then we'll compare notes.
Cool. You guys make me feel real confident.
We're still alive, aren't we?
The crab
Yeah, I
is
guess.
I think on that note, let's switch scenes here. Thixis. We rewind like 30, 45 minutes as you watch the rest of the group head off into the depths of Ladri's Keep to go and seek out this apartment of these wizards that apparently the Fool's Errant like I don't know, hang with or whatever. And you kind of set in your mind like, okay, I want to talk to somebody about like some of the things that I have. I want to see what it would take to get into the Ordinum Libri. And you walk the opposite direction. You exit out of the chamber that you're in into like a courtyard outside of Ladri's Keep, where there is like a small kind of like market type of deal set up where, you know, it seems it's very much geared towards like, you know, it's a lot of like food stands and things where like, you know, people at work or people on their way from one part of the keep to the other like might stop and like grab a bite to eat or, you know, something like that. And you walk out and no sooner does the thought enter your mind of like, let me look for that Tori and Adrian guy, then your eyes like settle on a food stall that seems to be selling like noodles of some sort. And son of a bitch, if like Tori and Adrian is not like sitting at that food stall just like eating noodles and looking directly at you from across the courtyard.
I turn around just to make sure like he's really looking at me and not someone else at first.
You like look and you look back at him and he raises like a pair of chopsticks with noodles in them. He's like, and then like continues to like put noodles into his mouth.
Those do look rather delicious. And I start walking over towards it.
You head over. As you get up to like the stall, he like with one foot sort of like shuffles a stool out for you. As the proprietor of this cart like sets a thing of noodles down in the space where you are sitting.
Oh, that's incredible. I didn't need to order?
The proprietor of the noodle goes like, "Oh, he ordered, I guess for you. He just ordered a second thing of noodles and told me to put it in that seat. But yes, I suppose." And Torian goes like, "Please enjoy. My treat."
Thank you, Torian. I appreciate that. I slowly sit down in the stool and pick up the bowl. Have a little taste to see what it tastes like.
It's sort of like it's got a little bit of a kick to it. Like it's a little spicy, not too spicy, but it's got a little bit of like a curried sort of like paste, like coated onto the noodles. It's pretty good. And
Hot
Torian Adrian
sauce.
is like sort of eating his, and he's like with a mouthful of noodles. He's like, "So what's on your mind?"
Well, is it okay if I call you Torian? Is that how I should address you, or is it Mr. Adrian? How, Sir Adrian? What is?
Oh, good heavens! No, Torian is
What
perfectly
is-
fine. It's my name
Okay,
after
I'm just-
all.
Friends call me T-Dog.
My intramural basketball league called me T-Dog, but that's a story for another time. No, Torian is perfectly fine. There is no difference in status between us. We are perfectly capable of being on a first name basis.
Well, I mean, I had a few questions, but I kind of look around just to make sure like nobody's like super like big time eavesdropping on us. Or
Make a perception check.
Perception, you got it. That's a 6.
Good noodles.
Oh yeah, delicious. Well, I guess I want to ask you. I guess I'll start with a difficult one, Torian. I'm curious. How long have you been watching us?
Watching you is a misrepresentation. He says it is in the same vein as the line of thinking that has a number of the individuals that you travel with extremely cross with me. It implies that I am hovering over a crystal ball, spying upon your personal lives and pulling strings behind the scenes. It is difficult to, he says, if we are to be precise, the first time that what I believe to be members of your particular group at this exact juncture within this particular course of events in this timeline. The first inkling I had of individuals such as yourselves was something in the ballpark of 143 years ago. If I am not mistaken, I believe your captain was the only one who may have been alive at that point. You see, Thyxus,
yes.
I'm not looking at you. I'm not following you. I am gazing into potential futures, potential outcomes that follow the ever-shifting course of events influenced on a moment-by-moment basis by the individual choices made by individuals. For a very, very, very long time, there have been, though there are near infinite variations upon them, there have been two primary outcomes to a course of events that have been underway for a very long time, that have been combating each other for dominance. In one of those outcomes, this world and its inhabitants prosper. In the other, to put it bluntly, everyone dies and everything is shit. I have spent my reasonably long life attempting to serve the will of the Weave of Fate, to promote the outcome in which everyone is not dead. In the pursuit of that, there are certain individuals who have important roles to play. And just as I, as an individual who can gaze upon this weave, can choose to act or not act in ways that might promote certain outcomes or others, there are those who have this same ability that are attempting to bring about the other outcome. We don't have enough time in the day, nor do you have the requisite experience in the realm of divination magic to fully grasp the implications of this, not to mention the fact that there are very specific rules about what I can and cannot say to you in ways that may or may not influence your future actions in ways that will change outcomes of things. Never mind. So, to answer your original question, I am not watching or following your group. I am following a branch of a multifaceted possible timeline in order to attempt to divert catastrophe. And in the visions that I am granted by the Weave of Fate towards this end, I have been shown you, your captain, and your Lunar Warrior compatriot, and Miss Ambermore, and your Furbolg compatriot, and the rest of your crew, and many others over the course of time. And it has been my goal to steer things in a direction that make it most likely that the most beneficial outcome for existence, as we know it, will come to pass.
So if you're attempting to steer things in that direction, why are you so concerned about what it is that you can tell me? Wouldn't you want me to be equipped with everything that I would need to know to help make sure that that happens?
He says, if only it were that simple. The act of divination is not a gazing into the future and a telling of fortunes and of outcomes. It is not a charlatan's parlor trick to tell you the future. Divination is an art of gazing at hundreds upon thousands upon infinities of possible outcomes. And he kind of like sets his noodle bowl down, and he puts his chopsticks down, and he like reaches down and he takes like a little pebble, and he just like plops it into the broth, and you watch like these little tiny ripples go out from where the little pebble went in. And he says, every single instant every action that every living being takes is like a single one of these pebbles being dropped into my broth. It creates ripples, and those ripples collide with the ripples created by every other action taken by every other being. So you can begin to perhaps visualize how complicated the interactions of reality are. One of the tenets of a true diviner is to reduce one's own ripples, or to, if you are really advanced, attempt to direct those ripples in a desirable path. He says, there are things which, if I tell them to you, with every intention of equipping you with a piece of information that would allow you to make the correct choice in a particular situation, will have effects that spin the possible future so far out of control that I would be unable to regain the upper hand in such a situation. It makes my position extremely precarious. It also, as you may have witnessed with your friends, it makes my interactions with people who resent the implication that another is spying on them or manipulating them extremely difficult. There are paths with which I could interact with you and your group where all of your friends would be my biggest supporters. But those paths do not serve the most likely positive outcome for all of creation as we understand it. And so if your friends resenting me and hating me quite significantly is the most efficient path to achieving that goal, that is an acceptable cost for me to pay.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Torian, I don't necessarily hate you. I guess I just always felt like, in my past, I guess I've always felt like there was somebody watching me. I didn't know if that might have been you the entire time.
He shakes his head and he says, no, my dear boy, I am sorry to be the bearer of the news that the quest for that particular answer is a road that lays yet a distance ahead of you.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, bringing it back around to my original reason that I wanted to speak with you, I pull out my notebook that I've taken all my notes about the ley lines and everything. And I kind of open to the page where I kind of made those discoveries about the magical and arcane ley lines that lie over Naporia and things like that. And I kind of opened to that page and I kind of shifted over the bar area wherever he's sitting at to him. And I've happened upon some new discoveries that I've noticed that haven't been something that you guys have had in store in your libraries. And I was coming to ask you if what does it take to be a member of the Ardenum Libre?
He's quiet for a while, and you can see that he seems to be thinking through some things that are like the question that you asked does not warrant the amount of like thought that he gives into this. You definitely see him like get the sense that he is like thinking about like things within things within things here. And eventually he picks up his bowl of noodles and he eats some. And he says, "You do not want to be a bookkeeper. There are answers you are seeking, Alexis. And I understand there are paths for you where you become a member of the Ordinum Libri, and you find the answers that you are seeking. I will not deny that to you. But the answers that you are seeking are only half of what it is that you are actually looking for. The path to finding those answers and to understanding what they mean for who you are lies down a different road for you. You have in your possession a signet, an ingot given to you when you arrived here in Terra Libra. I had presented it to you when I brought you here.
Yes,
This grants you access to Ordinum resources. Your negotiated contract with the Council of Eight will secure that the benefits that this provides to you extend beyond your brief visit here. Through this, you have access to everything that you will need to find the answers that you seek. But membership to the Ordinum Libri, joining their order, I do not believe it to be the right path for you.
I appreciate you giving me that advice.
He says, take this with whatever grain of salt you will. I am more level-headed, more clear-headed than I was when I first interacted with your group. Understand that at my best, I am infinitesimally little better than anyone who has no knowledge of potential futures. That is the nature of my art. You should take my advice in matters such as this with as much consideration as you would anyone else. The future is an ever-changing thing. It is constantly changing based on the decisions that every single living being makes. So when I tell you that I believe that you will find what you truly seek by utilizing the Ordinum Libri only as far as your current relationship with them goes, take that for what it is. The only person in this matter capable of deciding your fate is you.
Okay. as my child screams in the background.
We're in a crowded square. Sometimes children come and they like to play ball here. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, even if membership isn't something that you suggest, I still would like to. This information that I've gathered, I would still like to keep it here if that's possible.
He says, if there's anything you wish to submit to the library for their records, you may write out whatever thesis you wish, and keep it with them, and they will record it. I should. It is safe enough for me to at least tell you the information upon which you have stumbled about ley lines. It will be deemed insufficient to grant you full membership to the Ordinum. They are rather persnickety about who they let in these days, and merely drawing new conclusions from the information that they already have within their stores would be something that they will make the statement that you have not technically brought anything new to their archives.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Thixus will kind of slowly get up out of his stool and kind of set what's left over of his noodles down and just kind of look at him for one last second and say, so, did you say 140 years ago?
He says, give or take.
I have one last question for you, Torian. Does the name Barquo mean anything to you?
Inquo.
Is it an N, Banquo?
Banquo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So in that case, he like looks at you again for a while, and he's like, you can make an insight check actually.
Oh, sure, will do. Six.
Even with a 6, he pauses for a long time. That with a 6, that's what you get. He's like quiet for a while. He goes.
I would probably be before he even talks. I'd probably say, "So you do recognize it?"
He says, I can give you 2 pieces of information. The first is that should Ordinum membership be something that you truly desire for yourself, when you discover the origin of your kind, bring it to them, and they will let you in. And on the matter of Banquo, when he and your captain meet, it will not be pleasant. That is a constant in all realities.
So it's not an if, it's a when.
It is a when. I should not offer you any other information on the matter.
I appreciate what you've given me. Thank you, Torian.
He nods, and
I can't promise that the rest of the group is going to be as as understanding.
He smiles, and he says, It might actually be better if you censor some of the more humanizing aspects of our conversations when you relay this information to them. It would be better, ultimately, if they continue to disdain me.
Okay. I've had some practice doing that recently with other members of our crew.
He kind of nods and he says, never mind.
Hey, thanks again for the noodles. They were delicious.
Of course.
I'd turn around and walk away.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. The group that was having the conversations with the wizards and Brahm, like, do you guys feel it is necessary to return to that scene, or should we proceed from here?
Unless Brahm can give Nimue anything else, like Nimue's feeling pretty defeated at the moment, so not really.
Okay. Then let's say that as you guys like end that conversation and head out and come back down, you guys come back into that like original main like chamber of Ladria's Keep where that big anvil is in the center of the chamber, and you guys come back down as Thyxis is like coming back in from outside. You guys reconvene at that point.
You know, Murderbeard, Captain, if you ever wanted to be a monkey, like your little pet monkey, I could make you into a monkey. I just wanted to put that offer out there.
Oh my god.
I'm good.
Oh.
Captain, I could turn you into a really large monkey too.
Oh
I forgot to turn music on like.
Yeah, I was getting at what Minecraft was, but I didn't want to be annoying. Hello, Thyxis.
Hi. Did everything go well?
Not really.
No new leads, huh?
Not really. Pretty much got told that we're fucked. We can't touch them.
Yet.
Why?
Because apparently they know about us, and they're probably gonna come try and kill us anyway, so, like, we can't surprise them.
Nimue.
Maybe we can set a trap.
That's what I wanted to do.
If they're coming for us, right?
Yes, Sila.
Here is the thing that I need you to understand.
Okay.
If you are being hunted by something that you cannot see, then when it ends you, you never felt fear in the first place. But when you know you are being hunted, you have time to be afraid. And I think that's very valuable in this case.
For me or for them?
They should be afraid because we are hunting them. Do not be disheartened.
Thank you, Sila. I don't want to be disheartened.
Good, you are not a mewling pup, you are a wolf. A wolf does not get disheartened.
Nimue blushes a little bit because that's like the nicest thing Sila's ever said to anyone ever, and she's like, oh, okay.
All right. So as you guys reconvene, let's call it still mid-afternoon. Like, none of this took that long. You know that you have access to the workshop.
Yeah, let's go get
where
cool
you get
shit.
like cool shit.
That will make me feel better.
You guys have expressed an interest at some point in going to Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves, Archmage Fiery's in an establishment.
Yep.
You.
You put it in the world. I'm
If
just
you made
saying.
it.
Listen, no, yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you yes and things, and they quickly spin out of control, and then you have to build a whole
Okay,
Guy Fieri themed.
You made these decisions.
Crabotage was on purpose, and you're not ready. The just to like kind of keep you guys fresh on the various things, like the Grimaldi Circus is a thing that you got like was in your guys' periphery. You guys know that has like not started up when it was supposed to.
Right.
That those were like that was kind of like the main stuff that you guys like had expressed interest in that is
I
coming
vote
to my mind.
cool shit. Let's go get cool shit. That's my vote.
That is like a 5-minute walk from where you guys are currently. So that's not.
Yeah, let's just go there since it's convenient.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys want to head to the workshop. Okay. So the workshop, otherwise known as
The Cool Kids Club.
the Cool Kids Club. Oh, just the workshop. I thought it had a different name in my notes. It does not. So the workshop is a fairly large ancillary building to the like bookkeeper's compound here. You know from the brief description that was given to you that it is where like artificers and arcane crafters of the order and like independent contractors will come to conduct research there, where they attempt to like produce enchanted or like magical items which can be of some use to like the general like world. There are a number of master craftsmen who like work full-time here in the workshop. They oversee students from the university who like will take courses in like artificing and things that work here. Ordina members and non-Ordina members can pay for workspace here to like use their reagents and their tools and things like that. The workshop is a kind of a long sort of like warehouse looking facility. As you guys enter into it, you use your like signet things that you have been given, and they like boop, boop, and let you through the like wards to the building. You enter in. The inside of the building is immediately like 25 degrees hotter than it is outside. Like you guys like start sweating immediately. And you walk in, and there is like a large like production floor where there are like workstations and these like massive kilns that are currently being fired by a number of people completing like various projects. You see that there are side hallways that appear to like lead off to like private workrooms and stuff like that. There is a kind of like an office behind like a like pane of glass that looks out over the the workshop as a whole, sort of near the front of the building, that has a like a nameplate on the door, and inside through the glass you can see this like if you imagine like, so you know the scene in The Incredibles where like Mr. Incredible is at his like little tiny baby cubicle, and he's like way bigger than like all of the like office supplies around him. There's a dude who looks like that, except he has like a massive like grizzled black beard, and he's like at a desk in this like office as you guys enter it.
Do we have something to show that we're supposed to get new shit?
You were not given anything, no.
Okay. I'll go up though, I guess.
So you like go up to the like office. The door is closed to this office.
Oh.
The nameplate on the door says Chief Artificer Boris Volodov. Somebody knocks
I
on
can
the door.
hear. I can hear how he's gonna sound already.
I hate it already.
He sounds exactly how you think he sounds as he gets up, opens the door, and comes to the front and goes, "What do you want?"
We were told to come here for some cool magical shit.
He goes,
We are the crew of the Grimm's Folly. I don't know if someone told you that we
"Oh,
were
you're
coming.
the boat people. Yes, I know
Yeah,
who
we're the
it
boat
is.
people.
I know who it is that you are. Okay.
Okay.
I was given a description from some of the council upon who you are, but there is an art form to this. I must find out about you to know what items are most efficient.
Is this like a test?
No, that would be preposterous.
Okay, good.
And also, if you talk to Paolo Montblanc or Lenare Molino, do not tell them that we did this and I gave you things. They're very protective over their distribution of magical crap. But you're not relic hunters, so they can eat shit.
No, we're pirates.
I don't like that.
We're boat people. Pirates are boat people.
Privateers.
This. We're going to go with that. I'm going to pretend that I did not hear pirates.
All right.
People first.
I look at him and go, can I just have a moment really quick with my friends? And I turn on them, and I'm looking more at, like, Nimue, Scylla, and Captain. And I go, I need all of you to behave here. Scylla, you threatened the entire council. You all keep screaming that we're pirates when clearly that is not a good thing here. Can we all just bring it down a little bit while we're in civilized world? We can be crazy out on the ocean like we are all the time. Please,
Rowan,
don't make it harder for me here.
Rowan, that wasn't a threat. That was a promise.
I know it was a promise, Scylla, but can we not? You've upset the wild dogs. You've upset the wild dogs.
Thixus will squeeze into the huddle and say, "Guys, you think a place this with resources couldn't afford to furnish this guy's office with much bigger chairs and desks and things? I mean, seriously, just
Lexus, your horn is in my beard. I need you to repeat this.
I turned slowly around.
sorry."
He like I've actually like squeezed his way into the huddle, so it's just like this. It's like a his horn is like in there.
Sorry, Captain. Thixus just goes back out of the huddle, just disappears.
I turn slowly back around to him and I go, I'm sorry. My friends are... It's been a while.
I have a significant dealing with the official relic hunters that deal with the Ordinem Libre. You are not relic hunters, but you are close enough. A characteristic that I have determined is a necessity for anyone to undertake that lifestyle is that on a certain level you must be at least a little bit of a dipshit. This is fine, it is nothing though.
This is fine.
You are as I have come to think of it, you are strong of arm, noble of heart, and dumb of ass. It is fine. I have things to give you. Follow me.
Cool shit. Let's go.
The group of you follow him back to a
I'll
private
mind link with
world.
Rowan and be like, I'm sorry, bitch, but sometimes I just can't control myself. You know how it is.
You just get a very long sigh in response.
Psychic sigh.
Psychic side. Everyone's like, yeah, that tracks.
Like you saw a new band name called it.
You guys, you guys enter into a room, and despite the fact that he told you that this was not a test of any sort, the only thing in the room is, like a crash dummy that is like in the center of the room. And he looks to Murderbeard, to you first. And he goes, "Dwarf, what is your deal?"
I'm not quite sure how to answer.
He's our captain.
I don't give a shit about that. How do you fight?
Oh,
Usually with a rapier, and now sometimes with some shooty magic. That's
Fucking
hard to
what is shooty magic?
I don't really know what it's called, but
Show
it looks
him.
like this.
Alright, so you Eldritch Blast, and he's like, I really thought that I would not have to go through this day where I would not have to ask him to take his shirt off, but here we are. Let me see the fucking whatever. Show me.
Oh my god! You made a mistake!
He comes over and he goes,
Please, someone clip that. Please, someone clip that.
he comes over and he goes, and these appeared at the same time. I assume you made some sort of an arrangement with a fucking spooky thing, yes?
Yep.
Okay. He says, I have one test that I must do. He says, wait a minute. What is your this is new. What is your normal shit? You sort of like sword fight people. You're just a sneaky boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, one sort of one test. He says, shoot the dummy again.
You say show me again? Is that what you said?
Shoot the dummy again.
Oh.
As you like reach in and the tattoos like glow and the like flintlock pistol materializes in your hand, you like cock back the hammer, and as you're pulling the trigger, he like winds back and gives you like a massive pink belly. He just like smacks you in your stomach, like through your beard, and you're like, ah! And you pull the trigger, and the shot fires off. And he's like looking at your tattoos, and he goes, "All right, we're not going to fuck with that. I'm going to deal with the other part." Fair enough. Okay, you. And he points at Rowan. What is your shit?
I take out Shikai, and I just go over and slash the dummy, and I will strike paladin-y shit it too.
You smite.
Smite, that's the word. Sorry, there's
Okay.
barking dogs, and I can't think right now.
That's fine. He goes, you're one of those. Okay, fine, easy. Next, you. He points at Thixis. What is your shit?
Oh, well, I'm a little unpredictable. Sometimes I burn people really bad. Sometimes I cover them in acid. Sometimes I look like other people. Sometimes I manipulate people's minds.
You are unpredictable, you say. You have spurts of magic that are outside of your own control, is what you say?
Yeah, like sometimes I just make magical creatures appear out of thin air, and they talk to me in my mind, and then they disappear back to where they came from.
Interesting.
One time I completely disappeared.
Do a spell to the dummy.
Excuse me?
Do a spell to the dummy.
To the dummy. Like any spell?
He like looks, he turns to the rest of you, he's like, What is this guy's deal? He
He
does not
likes
understand.
to please. He likes to make
doesn't
sure he makes
understand
everyone
do a spell to
happy.
the dummy.
Make
I
it
don't
big.
give
Make
a
it
shit.
big. Make it big.
I don't want to hurt anybody. I mean,
Make it
I need to see your magic. I don't care. It's fine.
And
So if you
enlarge.
want to, you can
you
hurt them.
might want to take a couple steps back. I'm just
Uh-oh. Rowan
saying.
goes like almost completely out of the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna step back as well.
So you guys, like, some of you guys, like, step back or whatever. He just, like, folds his arms and is standing next to Thixus.
I'm gonna stay
How
up there,
about
but I'm gonna put myself slightly behind that guy.
Sure.
Like,
Boris Volodov.
Boris.
Boris Volodov.
Instead of casting the
Villain in
spell on the
Beyblade.
dummy, I'm gonna actually turn to his chair, and I'm gonna cast Reduce.
You're not in the
on his
room with his
already
chair
small
anymore. You guys
chair.
are in, like, a different
okay.
room. You're in a different room now.
Got it. Got it.
We,
Okay,
there can
I'll
be
try
a
to-
chair
I'll-
in here if you want to be on the chair.
I'll cast Reduce on the dummy and make the dummy
Okay.
small.
You cast Reduce. Is this a thing that requires...
And it would require a saving throw from the dummy.
The dummy will fail. As
And
you
I did not
cast your
wild magic.
so based on the information that you gave him, as you cast your magic, he moves like again faster than you to believe like a dude of his bulk is capable, and he also like 5 stars you. He runs up and goes like and like slaps you. Go ahead and roll a second time on the wild magic table.
Oh shit!
Still middle of the road.
Still
so
no. Okay. So he like the spell leaves your hand, and a second later he goes like smacks you, and then he pulls his hand back and he's like looking at you real close.
Should I make a concentration
the dummy
check
goes
to
like,
see if I can hold the Reduce.
No, he doesn't do any damage. The dummy goes like whoop, and shrinks down, and he like looks at the dummy and he looks back and he goes, okay. Sealy.
Can I ask a question?
Nothing is stopping you, I suppose. He goes,
Is
he turns,
that-
points to Sealy. He goes, "You do your what is your shit? Do your thing."
Okay, two things. Well, 3 things. First thing, is the slapping shit necessary, or do you
Yes.
just like doing it? And
Both.
the last thing is, I really, 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 really advise you to not do it to that one. And
Look at me. Do I look like a person who is an idiot?
You look like a person who might be in 2 pieces in a few minutes.
I could tell within 4 fucking seconds of seeing any of you that if I put one finger even within a foot of this person, I will have 1 less finger.
Yeah, maybe only 1 if you're lucky.
You may proceed.
I
I'm gonna step way back this time.
I'm gonna step forward. This is cool shit.
I just don't want to get
Lexus is
swept.
definitely next to Captain on this.
I'm standing in front of Thixus.
I'm out of the Gallagher splash zone.
I can do 2 things, so give me a moment. And first, I'm gonna cast Tidal Wave because I can cast spells. So a big old 30-foot tidal wave comes and destroys that dummy.
Okay.
Then I will turn into
The
a
dummy,
wolf and I
the dummy
rip
is
the
like
dummy
anchored into the
shreds.
ground, so the tidal wave goes past it, and the dummy goes like, and comes back to position.
And
after
then
the
I
tidal
turn
wave goes
into
past.
then I turn into a dire wolf and I rip the dummy to shreds.
Okay.
I don't rip it to shreds when I attack it.
You attack it, and you immediately like pull both arms off and like fling them across the room.
And then
as you
I
like
bare my teeth at the guy and just for good measure.
you do that, and he's like, look, he like, and looks back at the dummy as both of the arms go like, and go back on. And he kind of like looks and he goes, okay, good. That one will be easy. You there, you are the last one. What is your shit? Show me.
I have a few things as well. I'm gonna try something I haven't done before, but I want to try. So instead of my naginata, I'm going to pull out the basic longbow,
Okay.
and I'm going to aim it not at the dummy, but past it, like maybe off to the right.
Okay.
And I'm going to let loose, and at the same time, I'm going to use telekinetic movement to control the arrow that goes around and circle around to the front and hit it in the head.
Okay. I'm not gonna require any rolls. That's a cool thing. You just do that. Like, that's
Cool.
rad. So you loose the arrow, and then your
she glows and
tattoos all glow. Yes, the arrow sticks directly into the forehead of the dummy. And he kind of goes over and he sort of looks at you and he looks you over and he like looks at the naginata on your back and he goes, "This is your primary weapon.
It is.
You prefer to be close to your enemy."
Depending on the situation, but yes.
Very well.
I'm pretty good with my shot, even without the psychic help.
He looks at the group of you guys and goes, "Okay." He says, "There are a few items that notice was sent to me ahead of time to give to the group of you. Items that the council thought would prove useful for you. Having seen all of your individual magics and gauged your fighting style, I have other items I will requisition from the Relic Hunter's Armory. Stay here. I will be back." And he stomps out of the room. You guys have a couple of minutes to yourselves if you would like at all before he will return.
I will say that is a new thing you've never seen Nimue do before. I now can use telekinesis, bitch!
I just look at the dummy where the arrow is, and I go, "Well, remind me to never get in a food fight with you and try to hide."
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I'll call it back. Put the arrow back.
Seeing that the dummy is pretty much almost destroyed, I'll kind of look at everybody. You think we're going to have to pay for this?
He told us to hurt it.
Yeah.
Good point.
He probably has to pay for it. Sela, were you saying something?
I'm still a dire wolf. If I'm like this, I'm staying like this for as long as I can. I might as well get use out of it. So I just give Nimue a big old sniff.
Oh.
And I just sniff her to see if she smells different from being psychic. And then I'm just breathing my nasty dog breath on her.
Okay. A couple minutes go by, and Boris Volodov comes back, and he's got a push cart with him. There's a bunch of stuff on it. And he comes up and he goes, "Okay, here is the things that the council desired to be given to you." And he starts handing you guys each these messenger bags. They have a long strap that you would wear over your shoulder, satchel style. There are 5 of them that he gives to each of you. There is a 6th extra one that he just hands to somebody. And he goes, "Are you familiar with the bag of holding?"
Think so? Are we? Do we have one? No?
I don't think you guys have one. A bag of holding is probably a thing.
Didn't we see someone use it, though?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I thought someone used it in front of us, and we were like, that shouldn't have come out of that bag. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember off the top of my head. Seems like a thing that might have happened. He goes, "The bag of holding is a garment that has a extra dimensional space inside of it where essentially you can put a whole bunch of stuff that would not normally fit in a container of this size. He points to what you have been given. He goes, this is a set of interconnected bag of holding.
Oh shit.
He goes, all 6 of these bag of holdings connect to the same extra dimensional space.
Oh, that's really cool.
Anything that any one of you put into this bag of holding can be retrieved from any one of the other bags into the normal space, regardless of location, anywhere in the world. Goes, okay, next thing. He takes 2 scroll tubes. He puts them out in front of you for somebody to take. He says, each of these are a scroll containing the arcane elements that will be required for you to enact a teleport spell. Much like the one that was used to bring you to this location. You can use these to teleport essentially anywhere that you wish to go. He says attached into each of them is a piece of stone dust taken from the cobblestones inside the main hall of Ladria's Keep. You can use this as a foci for the spell to teleport and return to Ladria's Keep at any time you wish. Does not mean you have to use this teleport to return here. You can use it in other ways. But do so at your own risk, as trying to teleport to the fuck off end of nowhere might result in you teleporting into a wall and being immediately dead. He then puts a kind of like a gnarled, like 1 foot long piece of wood on the table. He says, this is a wand of detect magic. He says, you can use this to detect magic.
Nice.
He says, don't use it too much. If you use it too many times in a day, you can overburden it and the wand will disintegrate in your hand. But as long as you limit its use, you will always be able to detect magic on things. The council thought that the ability to look at magic stuff might prove useful to you. I have now thrown both of my pencils on the floor. Hang on, I must go get them.
I'll fetch them for him.
Aww.
I got this one. This is my favorite one. It's the yellow one. The last item, he fucks a big waxy candle in front of you. He goes, this is a candle of the deep. You can light it, it will burn underwater. It will burn anywhere. He says it is an enchanted candle if you are in a situation where you need light and you are underwater, or you are in a space that is otherwise inhospitable to candle flame. It will provide illumination for you regardless. Being that you are a bunch of boat people, the council thought this item would prove useful for you. He says, these are the gifts. These are the signing bonus, let us call them, for the group at large. I have evaluated each of you, and I have brought items either from my personal experimental stock of artificery, or from the stores of the Relic Hunter's Hall. I have something that I think will suit each of you in your endeavors. Be aware that it is my opinion that to use arcana and artificery to enact violence upon others is regrettable. I am a staunch believer that those with the incredible gift of magic should use it only in the pursuits of peace. So I did the best I could in picking non-violent or defensive or utility items for each of you. I was less successful in some people's regards, but there you have it. He looks to Rowan, you first, and he brings two things forwards to you. And he kind of unceremoniously thrusts a full kite shield at you and a beaded necklace. And he's like, "Here, these are for you." It says, "This is an animated shield. It is imbued with an enchantment. Spend the time to learn it, to synchronize with it. Set a command word. From thenceforth, when you speak the command word, the shield will spring from your grasp and operate of its own ability. It will provide you the benefits of carrying a shield on your arm without requiring you to actually carry it."
Hell yeah.
He points at the necklace. He goes, "This is an item that has been in our stores for a number of years, but it is essentially useless to the flavor of a magic user that inhabits the Odinem Libre. They're all wizards, and they cannot use this. This is faith crap." He goes, "As I understand it, your mileage may vary. This is a set of imbued prayer beads." He points. There are 4, primary beads upon this, it's essentially like a rosary, with, a set of main, bangles on it. He says, "Each of these is imbued with magic. It is triggered by the particular brand of magic that clerics and those in your line of work, as I have seen your striking with the divine energy, draw upon. You can call upon the magic stored in one of these beads without having to draw upon your own resources once a day. There are 4 of them. They each do a different thing. If you take some time to study this, you will discover this is a set of prayer beads. The 4 spells that they contain. One of the beads contains the Bless spell. One of the beads contains a Cure Wounds at 2nd level. One of the beads contains the spell Greater Restoration.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the final bead contains the spell Windwalk.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Let's go! What? Fuck shit up! Hell yeah!
He goes, "Okay, this is what I have for you." Next, he turns to Murderbeard. He goes over to you, and he thocks a pair of boots that look to be roughly your size on the ground, and he thrusts a pouch into your hands. And he goes, "Those boots will compensate for your short little baby legs. And this will, I believe, I am choosing to hope that this will allow you to utilize your skill set with a minimalization of your need for the stabbing of people." What he has given you is a pair of boots of speed. Essentially is an item that allows you to double your movement speed upon activating them. And a pouch containing Dust of Disappearance. 10 uses of this item. Which is essentially a powder that you throw a pinch of it, and it turns everybody within a 10-foot, I think it's a 10-foot radius, invisible for a short period of time.
Ooh.
He turns from Murderbeard, and he goes to Nimue. And he grabs 2 small, jewelry boxes, essentially, and he, hands them to you. He goes, "This is what I have brought for you." One of them contains a ring. Other contains like a brooch that is in the shape of a, it's sort of like a winged shield. And he says, this is the designer of this particular enchantment on this ring. Referred to it as a ring of free action. It bears an enchantment which will protect you from hostile elements which would otherwise hinder your movement across a battlefield. You can be freed from effects that would hinder your movement or slow you down or otherwise restrain you. Being able to move nimbly and freely seemed important to your fighting style.
Absolutely.
He points at the other item, the brooch. He says, this is a brooch of shielding. He says, this will protect you from certain hostile spells. I will look it up because I forget all of the effects that it has. He goes, are you familiar with the magic missiles spell?
No.
Goes, okay, basically it's a spell that creates bolts of force which will lock onto a target and strike them in combat. It's not immensely powerful, but it is a pain in the ass and potentially deadly in a dire situation. The enchantment upon this item creates a field of immunity around your person that will make you immune from this spell. Says you will also have resistance to damage inflicted by the application of force upon your person. He points to Murderbeard and he goes, like his gun thing that he does.
Okay.
So the brooch of shielding gives you resistance to force damage, so you'll take half damage from any force damage that you take while attuned to this, and you are immune to the magic missile spell.
Cool.
The Ring of Free Action, I believe, is an item you can just look up. It does.
I think I
it
found
says
both
it
of
does.
them.
Yeah, the Ring of Free Action basically like prevents you from being like you can not be restrained by stuff, and you are like immune to difficult terrain essentially.
Cool.
Sila's invisible right now, so we'll go to Thyxis until Sila's back. Thyxis, he turns to you, and he goes, I apologize in advance. I am giving you a thing that I think will be useful. I am also using you as a guinea pig.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
No, it's fine. And he hands you an amulet. It's a thing on a chain that you would like put around your neck, and it's a big rounded thing. It has a 5-pointed star on it. And you see that like the base of the amulet, and then there's like a face to it that has this like 5-pointed star made of like different materials on it. And as you kind of look at it, that face like spins.
Okay.
And he goes, this is something that we have had in our stores for a very long time. It is utterly useless to those who practice magic in the way that the Ordinum Libri sees fit. Those who study the weave and the intricate interactions between caster and arcane spellcasting. You, I can sense, are one of a rare breed of individual who has an innate connection to the weave. Points to the thing that he's handed you. This is an item that is of a similar nature. Each face of this star is a different crystal. When members of the Terra Libra, what one would call a wizard, cast magical spells, they do so using established formulae, ways in which they have discovered that the weave of magic can be interacted with and manipulated. But there are individuals that exist in this world who have a different connection to magic, and a very source of magic itself that seems to come from elsewhere. I'm not going to lie to you. We don't understand this form of magic. Points at you. The source from which you draw your magic is not the same as which a wizard would draw theirs. And we don't know where it comes from. But these fucking crystals do. In the hands of a wizard, these are entirely useless. In the hands of one such as yourself, who draws their magical ability from somewhere that we do not understand, they have, we suspect, interesting properties. I don't know what they are.
Oh no.
But you're going to find out.
Okay.
So, to give you some information out of character, I'll send all this to you after game, obviously, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
He has sent you an object that is essentially a spell foci.
Mm-hmm.
It has 5 different crystal shards implanted in it. As an action, you can turn the dial of this item to center one of the foci, like in the active position. And each of the 5 foci have a different effect. The 5 foci that are in it, one of them is a tourmaline shard, one of them is an opal shard, one of them is an amber shard, one of them is a jet shard, and one of them is a rainbow shard. You use an action to click one of these shards into place, and then when you use your meta magic ability to cast a spell, you also will trigger the effect of whatever shard you can trigger the effect of whatever shard you have active at the time.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna not tell you what the effect of each shard does.
Perfect.
And I'm gonna force you to figure it out on your own.
Hey, that's my jam. Let's do it.
There you go. So
Extra wild magic for Thixes.
That's the information that he gives you. So basically, you can use an action to, set one of these charges in place. One of these shards, and then when you use meta magic, you can activate its ability and find out what it will do essentially.
Okay.
That is what he gives to you. He turns, I think the last one, right? Sela is our last person, right?
Yeah, sorry, I had to do something.
That's no problem. Sela, he turns to you and he says, I have a bit of a interesting situation where you are concerned. He says, I have something that was in our stores, or was in the Relic Hunter stores, that I thought would suit your... you're a wolf right now, so he's talking to a wolf. He's like, I thought it would suit your particular brand of shit that you do. He says, the other item that I have for you was something that was sent over not long after the council meeting today. Apparently you made an impression upon the keeper within the animal sanctuary thing. And he sent something over that he wished to be delivered to your person.
I'll
kinda,
de-wolf.
Yeah, he was about to be like, can you not like wolf right now? I need to talk to you.
I let out a big wolf puff, and then I de-wolf.
Aww.
So he goes, he goes, this is the first thing that I have for you. And he hands you like an insignia. I don't know why this is the thing that's in my mind, but you know how like the Power Rangers had those like
Hell yeah.
things? It's like that, right? And it has like a set of like slashing claws on it. What he has given you is an insignia of claws. And he says, this item I thought would be useful for your particular thing. He says, well, you bear this and attune to its magic. Attacks delivered with your bare hands, or he gestures towards like your hands. Wolf claws, as they were, will deal more damage, and they will be enchanted with the magic of the insignia for any circumstance where that might be relevant. So this item gives you a +1 bonus to attack and damage to unarmed strike and natural weapons, such as your wild shapes attacks, and also those attacks will be considered magical for any circumstances where that might be relevant. He says he brings out the other item, and it is like it's like wrapped in a like a rough spun like hempen like cloth of sorts, and he like unwraps it, and it is it's a sickle, like one would use to like a scythe that one would use to like harvest grain, you know. It is carved with you see there are like down the curvature of the blade, there are like what you recognize as the faces of the moon, and he like hands this across to you, and like the silvered blade kind of like gives this like soft sort of like glimmer even in the like the light of this room. And he says I was instructed to tell you that this is a traditional item crafted by the particular circle of druid that the tender is a member of. Says this item apparently worships or pays homage to a deity that they hold sacred. He says it will apparently bolster your connection to the natural world and the magics that you draw forth upon. So for mechanical purposes, this is a moon sickle. It is a silver-bladed sickle that glimmered softly with moonlight. While holding this weapon, you gain a bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. This is a +2 weapon. You also gain a bonus to your spell attack rolls and your spell saving throw, equal to that +2.
Damn.
And you can use this thing as a spell casting focus for your druidic spells, so should you choose to. Additionally, not that Sela has necessarily ever done this. Actually, this is probably part of the spiel. Boris says, the tender said that should ever you choose to delve into the restorative properties of the magic which you dabble in, you will find this item of benefit to you. So as in mechanical sense, when you cast any type of like healing spell, this item will add a D4 healing to whatever spell you provide.
Shit.
Thank you.
That's lit as fuck. Holy shit.
He shrugs like, "Do not thank me. Thank the bearman that works in the sanctuary. He seemed rather taken with you.
Okay.
Not in a like,
I know.
not in yeah. You know. This is not for your benefit." He like immediately looks to the rest of your party. He's like, "I know what they're up to.
I
Purely
Him and Rowan are clearly standing together like
purely platonic sort of thing.
They're like children.
They are, yes. Well, I got that impression, which I don't know what it says about me.
Yes, we're
we're
the ones that are like
I
children.
I essentially gave a bunch of
everyone.
children like a hand grenade, but it's fine. So he like hands out all of this stuff to you, and he's like, "Okay, this is all I have for you."
Thank you.
Thank you, Boris.
Yeah.
Shrugs.
Have a good day, Boris.
He's like, "Alright, don't make it weird. Just fucking get over here now. I have work to do."
Gone.
I can make your chair bigger for a minute.
No, that is fine. It is.
It'll shrink with a minute and make it worse.
Yes, no, it's fine. I keep breaking them. It don't. Never mind. Get out. Go do whatever it is.
For a minute.
As we're walking out, I would probably kind of look at Rowan, and with the thing in my hand, I would probably turn it to set it to the jet stone.
Okay.
I think black's
Go
my
on.
color. And it's just gonna like put it down and just start walking.
Okay.
And smile. Just
Rowan
in case.
just
We need to find Thanks as a hot topic, like ASAP. Black's your color, bitch. Let's go.
Rowan just smiles, seeing Thykes is so happy with what he got.
I wonder what it does.
I'm anxious to find out.
So you
Make
guys
sure I'm
walk-
nearby if you're testing it, please.
Y'all walk out of the workshop back into sort of the common area of the Ordinum Rise, with a bunch of newly acquired information and newly acquired cool magical shit, TM on hand, and the remainder of this day and the remainder of whatever time you will spend in Terra Libra is ahead of you. But for tonight's session, we will, of course, call an end. So, thank you for joining us, everybody who is watching at home. Bye, Boris. Don't find them. Yes, so thank you for everybody who stuck with us over tonight's session. Thank you guys, as always, for joining me as players for my weekly escapism from the terrible reality that is the world in which we live. And of course, thank you to our sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle and Cheese, apparently.
Cheese.
This week brought to you by Cheese Caves. Cat.
Cap.
And Cat's gone. So we will, as always, see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.